What is up, YouTube? It is Matty, and welcome to another Learning Super Queen. So I hope you're excited to check out some more raids and me to talk a little bit more in depth about what we're doing and why we're doing it. But if you're not convinced by now, hopefully by the end of this video you'll see the merit in doing it. It's a very efficient farming strategy. You can use it with a level 15 queen, a level 10 queen even. Obviously it gets a little bit more challenging and you can't expect as much, so I would probably farm a little bit lower in the leagues to get better use out of it. So don't be worried about your queen level, but you do need your queen. So, and I've seen quite a few comments on, well, you know, I'm trying to upgrade my heroes and that sort of thing. That's fine. So if you're a person that doesn't have gems and you don't need to use gems to use this strategy, obviously in the moments and times where the queen is upgrading, you will need to use a different method to do it, because you can't super queen without a queen. So for those times I would probably go to Barch or Giants and Barch. Those are probably the more go-to strategies, and you're probably going to want to farm a little bit lower if that's the case, so lower down in Crystal League. But if you like me, you've got your queen, you're ready to use her. Anywhere between 2,500 and 2,700 trophies is doing me very well. If you actually look at my attack log, starting from the bottom, I was just using, my army was rebuilding, so I was just using archers to drop trophies and to snipe a bit of Dark Elixir. So that's why I've got some really strange looking raids up on there, but as you can see it worked. Been able to get a cheeky bit of Dark Elixir by just dumping a few archers and stuff. Every little bit helps. And then again, I was getting too high in trophies, so I have to manually drop, because I rarely lose a raid. It just means that sometimes when I'm starting to climb a little bit too high, I just manually drop back down. And if you can drop back down and gain a bit of dark on some drills or something on the way, then that'll only help you as well. So, but yeah, when I'm actually going for proper raids, you can see the loot is absolutely insane. Particularly in the last raid as well, that was an absolute monster. Always love to be able to bring you a monster. Defense wise, I'm still getting hit pretty hard, you can see, but that's fine, I accept that. I'm still making massive leaps and bounds. I'm almost ready to get my queen up to 35, just got about another 50,000 to go, I think it is. Yep. I've got both. I farmed both Infernos within like 12 hours of each other, which was pretty easy to do as well. And I've been getting my so I've been absolutely slamming through upgrades. And if you do a couple of sessions a day, so maybe a couple of hours in the evening, a couple of hours in the morning, or an hour in the morning, or even just one session, you can still get some and particularly if you're boosting, you can hit huge chunks of dark in a small window. So yeah, I hope you're sold on the idea. If you're not, then probably best not watching a Super Queen video. Anyway, I'll show you how I do it, which you've probably seen over my other videos. Now, I was distracted in this raid, like quite a few of the ones I do, so I couldn't give it my full attention. But what I always like to do is start the queen walk. Now, it doesn't necessarily matter which way she goes on a base where you're going for collectors and it's all spread out and stuff, because either way you can adapt, unless you're trying to dodge something very specific, like a hero or Infernos or something like that. But for now, you can see I'm not trying to push her either way. I just want to see which way she naturally goes. Now I know which way she's going, I just need to sort of let her do her course on this one. And on this raid, I'm not trying to break into the core. And the reason for that is because there's nothing in there of massive value to me, and the major pain is that the Infernos are there. Obviously Infernos put an end to a queen walk because they stop the healers from working, so the queen will just lose health, and when she's got 1, 2, a couple of defenses on her, she'll just lose health quickly, and the raid will be over before you know it. You have to try, if you're against Infernos, you have to try and keep the queen ability for it. So see here, the queen's health is just going down, she's not getting any heal whatsoever, but there's no defenses on her, so it's quite slow, and that's lucky for me, because I can just bide my time up until the last moment I need to. And I didn't even need, I should have not popped the ability there, that was a mistake, because there was no advantage to me doing it, because she was already out of the Inferno radius, and that's what I mean, you could tell I was distracted. So on a raid where I don't want her to go inside, I can just leave her to walk around. You don't need to use art. Well, and what you got to be thinking about now is how far is she going to get, and where am I going to use archers to clean the remaining buildings that I'm going to miss. So at this point, I'm just hoping she's going to keep walking around. I want her on this particular raid to walk the entire round the outside of the base. But I think there's a point soon where she just starts breaking in. I think it's coming up quite soon actually, and she just decides, instead of doing what I wanted her to do, that she was going to play her own game and break inside, which meant the raid just came to a little bit of an abrupt end. There it is, look, there's the break-in instead of going to the dark barracks, which was a shame. So she died and it was a waste. So at that point, dropped the king down, wanted him to break in and go and get those gold. I was after gold at that point because I think I was still farming for my inferno. And yeah, just dropped the rest of the archers down, trying to grab as much loot as I could in the final few minutes of the raid. It didn't quite a lot of splash damage there. Splash just absolutely wrecks archers, but I was able to get quite a healthy amount. Not too great on the dark, but it was still a pretty good raid. I'm sure there's going to be a different type of raid in here, so have a look at this one, see if I try to break in. And this is a classic example. Look, 3,500 dark. The drills are on the opposite side. I've dropped the queen just in a spot. I'm just going to allow her to start breaking some buildings. I did misclick the ability there, by the way. I meant to drop the king over on the other side with some archers, look, which is, I'm going for the drills. So now I'm just going to watch which way the queen starts walking and let that pan out a minute. I don't want to try and force it either way, because whichever way she goes, it's irrelevant to me. I can then just choose a breaking point. So she's gone the complete opposite way. Look, she looked like she was going to go around to the one side, but then she's decided to break in herself, which is again a little bit of an advantage to just not trying to force it, because it's hard to do it quick within 20-30 seconds to make a plan like that. And this is a prime example. She's broken herself. I know that she's just going to go around, so I'm using archers to go inside. So I'm just using archers to clear the outside buildings. Then she decides to break back out, which was confusing. So at this point I'm like, right, okay, so I need to get her into the dark storage. I let her take down some buildings, and eventually I'm going to want to use that jump spell that I've got to get her inside. I tried to use some tactical wall breakers first, see if I could get her going in, and they all got sprung out. So that plan alpha failed, which is fine, and I think it's getting to the point soon where I'm thinking I'm going to need to drop a rage and a jump. And it was at the point where she was starting to take down these final storages, look, because then she's going to have an option to go inside or outside. So the jump spell's there sat waiting for her, and what I wanted to do is start moving inwards. And she does, and she keeps moving inwards, but because she can shoot so many buildings from that spot, the jump spell eventually runs out. But she's on her course inwards, and that's all I needed, because now she can just carry on taking down all those defences, and eventually she takes down the dark, and I've got everything I wanted from this raid. 83%, 240,000 of each loot almost, and 3,500 dark, and I've got what I need. Moving on, the next raid I did was just, look at that, I saw 5,000 dark, I saw the storage there. No inferno within range, so I just sent my queen straight in to go get it. I needed to drop a few trophies, so I didn't really care. Dropped a few archers to funnel, and then just let the queen go and do her thing, and just, yeah, get into position, get the Dark Elixir, and then get out there with my queen still alive and intact. And that was the point. So let's go to the monster raid now. Let's have a little look. Here it is. And yeah, it's a box base, so I just dropped the queen at any point. The inferno was opposite, so I wanted to just make sure I got a good percentage of the loot. So I dropped to the... Oh, I hate it when it does this. So I dropped to the opposite side. Didn't matter which way she went to me, because either way. But now I can see she's moving the one way. I'm just using a golem in the CC and the archers and the wall breakers just to break him. Start taking down some defences just to help her out, take down some storages as well if I can, get some collectors, and let the queen, she was gonna walk around the outside, but she's decided to break in. If she hadn't broken in by the time she got to 3 o'clock, I think I'd have broke her in manually with my wall breakers, so it didn't matter. So yeah, I've learnt, and I think that you guys should do the same. Try not to immediately force her, and just drop her at a point where it doesn't really matter whichever way she goes, and then just use your archers to clean the other side if you need to. So at the moment she's just walking around now. I've got the Dark Elixir storage, which was great. I just want to try and get the drill. She's going to naturally walk around the outside, or around the inner layer of the outside, and just take down all the buildings. And if I get into trouble, if I need to use a rage spell, I will. If I need to use the ability, I will. I'm saving the ability for the Inferno Tower, and you can see what I'm going to do soon. I'm going to use the rage spell to speed her up because it's just time. Time is running out. Always. I'm just trying to see if there's any other Teslas to trip at the bottom by the Inferno Tower, or indeed if the Inferno was just nearly empty and just needed a little prod to be empty because it was in range. So you can see here, Queen's dead. I used the rage spell here to speed it because you can see what's happening with the air defense. So I'm like, oh god, get it down quickly, don't take another one of my healers down, I'll need those. And it also helped me with dealing with the king as well, so that's a pretty nice rage spell, I think. Did me a couple of favours there. And it's the point soon which is going to be the tricky bit, getting to that Inferno Tower and then getting past it. So you can see I'm dropping a load of archers around. I knew I was going to struggle for time, so I'm just dumping all my archers there to try and get those final collectors and drills and whatever, and it worked fine. I got quite a good chunk of what I wanted to with that, and there you can see the Queen's on her now on the Inferno Tower, took it down with enough time for my Queen to regain the health back. There's always a delay after an Inferno beam's been on the Queen. It's a delay of about a second and a half, and that's just while she won't regain health in those few moments, and then it's almost like an afterburn almost, and then it'll wear off and she can. I ran out of time on the raid, otherwise I could have collected the final bit of loot, which would have been beautiful, but still able to walk away with over 500,000 gold, 600,000 elixir and 5,000 dark. That's why I love farming this high, because when gems like this come around, and they do as more often than you'd think, and I'm telling you now, I farm collectors. Most at 70% of my raids are collector raids, so if people think that dead bases are gone, they are very much mistaken. I'm making a living off of it in Masters and loving it, so I am doing myself a disservice by sharing it with you all as to exactly what and how I'm doing it, because if it gets overcrowded, then there'll be less bases for me. But at the end of the day, I'm a YouTuber and I want to show you guys how and what I do and why. Anyway, hope you've enjoyed this video as always, guys, and let me know your thoughts, and I'll see you on the comment section. Peace.